The old diner's door chimed as Thomas Hale stepped inside, brushing a few snowflakes off his faded leather jacket. The place smelled of coffee and fresh pie, the kind of comfort that made winter days feel less bitter. At 72, Thomas still carried himself with the steady posture of a man who had faced more than most could imagine. His eyes, though, told another story, the kind of weariness you didn't get from age, but from nights that never really ended. He'd been a firefighter for 35 years. 35 years of pulling strangers from burning buildings, of hearing voices calling from smoke-thick darkness, of counting seconds between explosions and collapses. And in all that time, he'd never asked anyone for thanks. Today wasn't a special day. No birthday, no anniversary, just another quiet lunch at Miller's Diner where the waitresses knew his name but never pried into his past. He sat at his usual corner booth, ordered his usual grilled cheese and tomato soup, and stared absently out the fogged-up window at the snow. That's when he noticed the man at the counter. Young, mid-30s, wearing a navy coat, watching him with a strange kind of focus. Not a smile, not a frown, just recognition. When Thomas finally looked back down at his meal, the man was gone. So was his bill. The waitress came over, a little pale, and placed a folded receipt in front of him. "He paid for your lunch," she said softly, "and he told me to give you this." On the bottom of the paper, in uneven black ink, were 4 chilling words that made Thomas grip the table to steady himself. "I was there too." The diner's hum faded into silence as his mind raced. There. His heart thudded once hard. It wasn't possible. That fire had been over 20 years ago, the one that haunted him most. The one where he'd carried a boy, maybe 12, through walls of flame. That boy had been limp, not breathing, his face so blackened from smoke Thomas was sure he was gone. But in the ambulance, the boy's chest had risen once, shallow but defiant. Thomas had never known if he'd made it. He left a few crumpled bills on the table and stepped outside, scanning the street. The snowfall had thickened, turning faces into blurs. But just across the road by the alley, he saw him, the man in the navy coat. Their eyes met for a heartbeat, and something unspoken passed between them. Gratitude, recognition, and the shadows of that night. Then, without a word, the man turned and vanished into the snow, leaving Thomas standing in the cold, heart pounding with an emotion he couldn't name. For years, Thomas had carried the weight of that night, the screams, the collapsing beams, the helplessness of knowing you couldn't save them all. And yet here was proof that sometimes you could. Proof that the smallest choices, a step into the flames, a refusal to give up, could echo through decades. He walked away slowly, the receipt still clenched in his hand, the ink smudged by melting snow. 4 words, and the world felt heavier and lighter all at once. "I was there too."